DGTV is Darren Gilbert Television. You are watching classic television, modern news and analysis. Stay tuned to DGTV.
Welcome to DGTV News and Commentary with Darren Gilbert. Brought to you today by Miller Beer. It's Miller time.
Winter sunsets early, the chill is in the air. Got you know a place that's warm, gonna find some friends in there. Bring your thirst to set right here, you got the time, we've got the beer. But what you have in mind, you know it's Miller time.
The clean, smooth taste of Miller Highlight. That's Miller time.
You've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller Time and Miller Beer. Here is the star of DGTV News and Commentary, Darren Gilbert, reporting today from Wasaga Beach, Ontario.
Thank you. And of course, that was my excellent impression of Colonel Muammar Gaddafi giving his little broadcast last Sunday night out in the rain, standing with an umbrella while half sitting in a van, claiming he's in Tripoli, Libya, not in Venezuela, where his good buddy Hugo Chavez lives. Barack Obama offered a very tepid response to the chaos and upheaval in Libya this past week when he said that the actions happening by the government there were not acceptable. Ooh, wow, that's going to scare him. He was quite harsher against his ally, Hosni Mubarak in Egypt. And of course, Mubarak ended up resigning. Somehow I don't think Gaddafi is quivering in his boots with what Obama has said about him. Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper has loudly condemned what Gaddafi is doing to his own people, called for his arrest and for him to be tried in a world court for crimes against humanity. That is the right attitude, but we should be doing more. We should be supplying arms like they're going out of style to the citizenry of that country so they can take on the military, that is the military that sides with Gaddafi, the mercenaries that he's hired to kill his own people, and Gaddafi himself. In light of what Conservative Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper said, I suggest, Colonel Gaddafi, if you are watching DGTV News right now, if you have any sense of decency in your body at all, get into a plane with your 3 sons, fly to Toronto, Canada, and surrender to the RCMP, where we will make arrangements for you to be tried for crimes against humanity. And in Canada, there is no death penalty, unfortunately, so if the trial takes place here, you would live in prison for the rest of your life. Now, normally I would say go to the United States and surrender, but I have no confidence in President Obama, and Harper seems to have had the right attitude and is leading the free world in this. So I say, come to Canada and we will take care of you and let your people have the country back. Item. The price of oil is going up because of all of the chaos in the Middle East. Well, what did you expect? We haven't been drilling for oil at faster than a snail's pace in North America for years and decades. The offshore drilling is beneath a snail's pace and halted at times. We haven't built a refinery since Dallas was in its early years on CBS. And nuclear power plants, you can't build them anymore because of environmental regulations. Well, you can build it, but it takes about 35 years. In the name of humanity and economy, we need leadership in North America. We need politicians to be saying, let's drill and drill and drill, and let's slash the environmental regulations. Let's build refineries like they're going out of style and slash the environmental delays which get in the way of building these refineries. Let's allow safe nuclear reactors to be built faster. If we do this, we can get the cost of energy down and not have to rely on Middle Eastern countries where if a dictator is getting overthrown, it affects our costs of energy here. Do you really want to rely on the Middle East and Hugo Chavez in South America so much? Let's rely on ourselves, get costs down because everything's skyrocketing, and start drilling. And it all starts by courage and slashing environmental regulations. Item: the Academy Awards are on television this Sunday. I won't be watching. Item: Charlie Sheen was ranting again this past week, and CBS has had enough of him. As you know, he's been in rehab a number of times, and CBS has now put the series on hiatus. There were 4 more episodes to film, and it's not clear if the series will be back next week, and Sheen has gone on a rant against CBS over this. I do not watch 2.5 Men. The show does not appeal to me. I'm not a huge fan of Charlie Sheen, though he acted well in the movie Wall Street. But I have a solution for CBS and the producers of 2.5 Men. As the show does do well in the ratings for some reason, there's no need to cancel the whole show if you can't make amends with Charlie Sheen. I have the Two Darrens solution for you. For those of you who remember the old series Bewitched, Dick York played Darren, the father, the husband of Samantha, the witch. And Dick York had a very bad back and had to take an awful lot of prescription drugs to deal with this, to the point where he could no longer return for the latter 2 seasons, I believe, of the series. They quietly replaced him in the off-season, that Darren, with actor Dick Sargent, who looked very similar to Dick York, and he was just brought in quietly, and people said, boy, Darren looks a little bit different, and people basically kept watching the show for about 2 more seasons. You can apply the Two Darrens solution to 2.5 Men, and I have a little wrinkle for you. All of my life, I, Darren Gilbert, have been told that one of the celebrities I resemble is, in fact, Charlie Sheen. Yes, I get the Jack Lord and the Elvis Presley comparisons too. Even been told I look sometimes like Emilio Estevez. But quite consistently that I look like Charlie Sheen. CBS, I am available for hire temporarily for the remaining 4 episodes or for another whole season or as long as you like. And I will work for 25% the value that you pay Charlie Sheen. Just get in contact with me, and I think you've got absolutely nothing to lose, and you'll save money on salary, and you just quietly bring me in and act like nothing happened, and I'll take over his character. Now, I haven't watched the series, so that gives you the advantage of molding me exactly how you want me to do this. So, CBS execs, Darren Gilbert available for hire to replace Charlie Sheen on 2.5 Men. Item: Ontario Liberal Premier Dalton McGuinty is opining that he's going to maybe pass a law which will allow Ontarians to drink beer outside of the beer tents at events. Oh, thanks, Mr. Nanny. That's so nice of you. Oh, I know. We're in an election year in Ontario, because Mr. Nanny has been regulating our lives to bits for the past 7 years, and he wants us to forget about it. And when he raised the price of beer from the minimum of $1 a beer to something higher than that, and the Conservatives came up with the proposal of reducing the minimum back to $1, McGuinty was upset that they're trying to buy votes. What do you think you're trying to do by allowing us to drink beer outside of the beer tent, Dalton? That said, I support this measure wholeheartedly. Allow people to drink at events in the open air outside of the beer tent. If someone is violent or publicly intoxicated to the point where it's a danger, you can have them arrested. It's time we started having more libertarian laws like this, and it doesn't mean I'm going to vote Liberal, Dalton. Don't go fooling yourself. Item: progress in the state of Wisconsin. It's not coffee or tea, by the way. Republican Governor Scott Walker has not caved in to the Democrats and not caved into the public sector unions, and it looks like he's going to win this fight. It looks like the union, the public sector union in Wisconsin, is going to start having to contribute to their own pensions, imagine that, other cutbacks, and losing collective bargaining rights. Thank God. If this can get through in Wisconsin, it is going to spread the momentum. It started in New Jersey, it spread to Wisconsin, it's going on in Ontario, in Toronto, but we need to keep winning each battle. If we win the battle in Wisconsin, we have more of the wind behind our backs. And it's definitely trending that public sector unions are on their way out in terms of wasting our money as much as they have, and in terms of abuse of power. Item. This is local politics now. The county of Simcoe, Ontario, which contains the town of Wasaga Beach, among other towns. The county of Simcoe, over the years, took over the garbage. And in Wasaga Beach, we used to have a 10-bag-a-week limit. A bit high, but we paid for it in our property taxes. That was gradually reduced to 2 bags and down to 1 bag sometime after the county of Simcoe took over the garbage. By the way, county of Simcoe garbage men, sometimes you forget to pick up my garbage and I've had to complain. It's not as often as before, but sometimes. Now there is a proposal starting sometime next year, and around July of 2012, to go to a 0 bag a week limit. Yeah, you heard me, 0. 0 bags of garbage allowed that you can take out. So that means you have to recycle everything. Okay, no problem. We'll just take all of our garbage and put it in the recycle bin. Oh, but you can't do that because not everything's recyclable. So what are we going to do with the unrecyclable stuff? Oh, we have to buy garbage tags. Well, I know we can buy that for the additional bags, but even for the first main bag, we have to buy the tag. When you think of municipal services and how we spend so much money in property taxes on municipal services, the most basic fundamental thing you want municipal politicians and bureaucrats to look after is picking up our garbage. Taking the trash from the side of the street. That's job number 1 of management of the municipality. I know there's lots of other things you get into, and they are important, some of them more than others. Youth centers, recreation complexes, helping tenants if you're in the city of Toronto. If you're going to go down to 0 bags a week limit, fine. You want to slash that? Slash everything. Get out of all of these other things. Then I'll happily pay for my garbage tags. But if you're going to have your paws and everything, then the least you can do is pick up 1 freaking bag of garbage a week. That's the minimum responsibility of a municipality. And the county of Simcoe, I hope, does not think it's going to get away with this, because this is ridiculous. There is no trend to think they're going to be slashing everything else. This is just governmental, behavioral, conformity, environmentalism, and it's time it stopped. There was a time when the county of Simcoe and Wasaga Beach was kind of like a little Texas in Ontario, kind of an area of freedom and libertarianism, and those days have gradually come to an end over the year. It's just as regulated as any urban municipality, and feeding us behavioral conformity change that they want to in the interests of environment. In the interests of environment, just look what's happened to the price of oil because of the interests of the environment. I touched on that in item 2. That is it this week for DGTV. I hope you have a good week. And I will not be watching the Academy Awards.
DGTV is Darren Gilbert Television. You are watching classic television, modern news and analysis. Stay tuned to DGTV.